Hey there, my name's Josh with Shua Photography. As tons of people have done in the past several days, I wanted to talk to you guys about the Z6 and the Z7 Nikon mirrorless cameras. But I'm going to be a little more positive about it. To start off, I've already pre-ordered the Z6 with the FTZ adapter and the 24-70 f4. As you can see from my channel, I don't post a lot of videos. Number one, because I'm too busy with work, and number two, because there are a ton of personalities out there that talk about gear. So I apologize in advance for any likes or ums or weird pauses that may be in this video. Like many of you that are watching, you've been bombarded the last several days with a ton of negativity about these two new cameras. Like one card slot, poor battery life. Well, I'm going to touch on those, and then I'm going to give you my opinions on the positives, as well as those negatives. So haters are going to hate it no matter what. There's always someone out there that is going to not like what is put out by a specific manufacturer, because there is no perfect camera. There won't be a perfect camera for every single person. So it all depends on what you want to shoot. Me, myself, I don't take other people's opinions to heart. I have been doing my own research and coming up with the gear that I think will fit my work best since 2007 or 2008, and I've stuck with Nikon. I'm heavily invested in Nikon lenses, and so like many of you out there, many other photographers out there have been waiting for so long for Nikon to finally jump into the mirrorless game, and hoping that they would come out with something that would rival or beat the Sonys. And I think they did. I think they got something that will rival them and will slow or stop the exodus of Nikon users over to Sony. Canon still hasn't put out their announcement for their mirrorless camera, and they're going to need to do something pretty soon also. So if people are looking for Nikon to bring out a mirrorless camera that would replace their DSLRs, sorry, they're disappointed. But I personally was waiting for them in order to find something to accompany my existing equipment. My D810 and my D750 are extraordinary cameras, and I don't think I will ever go 100% mirrorless, so I wouldn't be replacing. I was just looking for something to add to my kit. But the advantages of having a mirrorless camera that will take my existing Nikon lenses and give me just as superb, if not better, image quality is enough for me. And it might be enough for you. So now let's touch on the cons that everybody's been talking about. And bombshell number one card slot. Okay, I would love for there to be a second card slot. You bet, I'd love that. But it's not on there. And that's okay, and I'll tell you why. So I shoot weddings, I shoot family portraits, I shoot individual portraits, and all of that stuff. So for a wedding, yes, I love having two card slots on my D810 and my D750, but that doesn't mean that I won't use this Z6 on a wedding. Will it be my primary? Most likely not, because I do like having the redundancy for a wedding shoot. But for a portrait session or a family session where, if need be, God forbid, you know, the card took a crap, then I would be able to reschedule it. So would I use it as a primary at a wedding? No, but I would definitely shoot it at a wedding, because of course I want to see what it's going to look like. I want to see how capable it will be compared to my D810 and my D750. So, you know, on many other, you know, on all of my other photography adventures, it's not paramount to have a second card slot. Things can be reproduced. I can schedule a reshoot if need be. Is that best practice? Probably not. But I myself have had several cards go bad, most of which I was able to recover. One, the whole session was completely gone, so I had to reschedule. It sucked. It took time out of my schedule to reshoot it, but that's one in hundreds of thousands of pictures, or one set in hundreds of thousands of pictures that I lost. Now, I also owned the the D500, which had an XQD card in it for about a year. I never had the XQD card in, I think it was close to 90 to 100,000 shots on just that camera did I ever have an issue. So it is reliable. Granted, I wouldn't trust one card 100% at a wedding situation, but in other forms and other photo shoots, I'd be more than happy to have just one card. So the next con that everybody's been talking about is the battery life. The Nikon website showed 330 shots on a single charge, and oh my god, the sky is falling. Yes, that's a low shot count, but it's a third-party estimate. It's not what people are actually getting. I've seen several videos since the release and everybody going crazy about it of people that have actually had the chance to hold the camera, shoot the camera, and play with it that have said it got way more than the 330 shots. So I'm not going to hold the battery life against it right now, but it takes the same ENEL 15 batteries that my D810 and my D750 take. So if I have to swap out, you know, let's say 500 shots, and I have to swap out one battery, one session I get 1,000 shots in 2 batteries, that's okay with me. So I'm not going to go crazy over that. The next con that people have been talking about is the buffer. 2 to 3 seconds of raw images in the buffer, how dare they, right? Well, the XQD cards that will be in these cameras are amazingly fast and reliable. Like I said before when I was talking about the D500, is these XQD cards are stupid fast. If the buffer fills up, all you have to do is release your finger and put it back down, and it'll continue shooting. Those cards write that fast. You fill up the buffer, let go, it'll write it, and you can continue on. So it's as easy as that. So now I want to talk about my list of pros, because my list of pros is way longer than those cons. And to me, they outweigh those cons. Because like I said, I'm not going to be replacing my DSLRs with this. I'm going to be adding it. So number one is the D850 weather sealing. Like that's insane for a camera like this, that I wouldn't hesitate to put it through its paces like I do with my D810 or my D750. I mean, rain, wind, doesn't matter, sand, whatever, I will take it out and I will put it through its paces just like I do with my other gear. Next is the FTZ adapter. Yeah, all my Nikon lenses will work on this new camera, even with a different mount. Perfect. The next is the EVF. So this is something I'm really excited to try out. No more guess, test, and reshoot. I'll be able to see the exposure right there live up to my eye, which is pretty cool. So that should cut down a little bit of time trying to get my exposure right for my clients. So it won't be a bunch of, okay, let's take a test shot, click, and then, you know, well, let's redo that. It'll be a lot easier to make sure that I have my exposure exactly the way I want it before I ever press that button. So that's awesome. Next is the autofocus. So this is to be determined, you know, if it's up to par, but from the initial videos that I've seen, it looks to be well ahead of the rest of the Nikon lineup when it comes to autofocus. You know, there's neither here nor there, but once an actual production model comes out and it can be thoroughly tested, we'll see. But from the looks of it, it's fantastic. Next is the portability and the ergonomics. So I love that it'll be in a much more compact body, but still be heavy hitting. And that's what everybody wants when they go to a mirrorless camera, right? Is something that's smaller, more portable, something lighter. And the ergonomics, from what I've seen and what I've heard, is that it feels like a Nikon. You pick it up and it feels like a Nikon. That's one of the reasons why I've stuck with Nikon. Other than the amazing image quality, the ergonomics and the way it feels and fits in my hands, and the button layouts that Nikon puts out are second to none. So finally is the video feature. Now, I'm not a videographer, I'm a photographer, but I've been asked by many clients to shoot video. It's doable on my current bodies, but it's not as intuitive. And so I'm not 100% comfortable with saying, yes, I'd love to shoot this video or whatever. I just do my own personal projects with video where I can control everything and reshoot as many times as I need to. But I feel like with these new camera systems that it'll be much more intuitive and easier for me to feel comfortable shooting video for a client. And that's something I'm really excited to try out. So, like I said, these cameras are not going to be for everybody. They're not going to replace DSLRs anytime soon, at least. But I think that Nikon did enough to stop or slow the exodus to Sony. Even if photographers have to wait another year before one comes out with a 2-card slot or better battery life and stuff like that, or until they get a better lens lineup for the Z mount. But for the time being, if you already have a Nikon with this FTZ adapter, you don't necessarily have to wait for lenses. Someone brand new coming in, sure, you know, they'd have to, you know, buy into whatever lenses are available at the time. But for those of us that have been shooting Nikon for so long and we have a large collection of Nikon lenses, then it's almost a no-brainer. Hold out for another year if you absolutely have to have those 2 card slots. But for me, the Z6 I think is going to be a perfect addition to my kit, to my bag. And I can't wait to get my hands on it. I know I've got to wait longer than those that are going to be pre-ordering the Z7, but I'm still super excited. For those of you that are thinking about this camera, look at everything. Don't just jump to a huge conclusion because one of the famous YouTube personalities said that it's terrible and oh my god, there's only 1 slot, the battery life sucks. Just do your own research and see if it'll be a good fit for you, because to me it'll be a good fit. Like I said, I'm not replacing anything, but it'll be a good addition to what I've already got, and I get to stay with Nikon and not have to jump over to Sony. So that I'm very excited about. So thank you for watching. If you would like, comment, or subscribe, please do, especially if you'd like more content. That's the way to get it, is to like, comment, subscribe. So again, I'm Josh with Shua Photography. Later.